It's François Geoffroy. I am spokesperson for La Planète s'invite au Parlement.
Thank you so much, Francois. So I know you spoke a little bit on email about your feelings, but I guess just to state it again, as the city of Montreal wants to be carbon neutral by 2050 alongside Canada, is this fast enough, especially given the fact that we're expected to hit globally 1.5 degrees Celsius between 2030 and 2040?
No, 2050 is not enough, and sadly I doubt that the actual plan would get us that far anyway. The actual plan plans only for 2020 to 2030. It aims for a 55% emissions reduction, and I'm really not certain it will manage that. But then again, when we say that the 1.5 target means carbon neutrality by 2050, we are talking about worldwide carbon neutrality. Um, Canada signed the principle of I'm not sure how you say it in English, but the main idea adopted at Kyoto was that rich countries much need to do more and need to do it faster because of their capabilities, but also because of their historic responsibilities regarding global emissions. So 2040 for Canada would be a just target. But then again, we must also realize that, particularly in Quebec, we are one of the places on Earth where a transition and a just transition would probably be the easiest. It's still an incredibly huge project, but we have renewable energy and we have a lot of it. Um, Most specialists in Quebec agree that to attain carbon neutrality, province-wide would mean a reduction of 50% of our energy consumption because we are an energy-rich country. Elsewhere on the planet, perhaps it will be it will need people will need cuts as big as 75 to 80%. But here, the cuts will need to be drastic, but not as drastic as there will need to be elsewhere. So we need to act as leaders. We need to aim for ambitious greenhouse gas cuts, which must, of course, come with energy cuts, and we must plan on doing that as quickly as possible. And we think that a realistic goal would be 20 somewhere between 2030 and 2030 and 2035 for the whole province of Quebec. We need to plan along those lines. We need to act as leaders, and we need to show the way to parts of the world where I'm sorry, it's always harder in English. We need to show the way for the parts of the world where the transition will be harder because the renewable energy potential is not as high as what we have here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And then, are there any last points you want to add in
Oh, I'm
about
sorry, I
your
don't hear
thoughts
you
about the
well.
plan? Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
No, it's better, but my I think it's my internet connection that's not very good.
Okay. I can type it.
So mostly other thoughts about the plan. There are a lot of good things in there, things that the environmental movement, the climate justice movement has been asking for a while. The idea of submitting most major decisions to a climate test is one good thing. The idea of banning oil in residential and commercial buildings for heating purposes, that's something that should have been done ages ago. But then again, the plan does not say anything about natural gas, which is just as much as a problem as oil is. The plan also talks about huge reductions in um, combustion engines, so cars mostly. But it's mostly a lot of carrots, not a lot of sticks. So how do you exactly plan to achieve such drastic cuts in the number of cars that are in circulation in Montreal? There are things you can do, but then again, we must also be aware that there are profound limitations on what a city municipal government can do as long as the province and the federal government are not on board. In the end, we will need to do drastic things like shut down the refineries in the east of Montreal. We will need to eventually ban uh, all cars running on oil. That's a thing a municipal government cannot do. So, but yes, Montreal is taking interesting steps, but that, for the most part, sadly, steps that should have been taken 10, 20 years ago. So we must, the movement is still fighting. The movement is starting to get strong again now that the pandemic is, of course, not over, but a little bit behind us. We will be striking on September the 23rd. There are unions planning for a strike. There are student associations that are starting to discuss it more and more. There will be important protests everywhere in the province. 9 cities have already confirmed protests for the September the 23rd. So the climate justice movement is there again. And of course, Montreal is trying to do as much as it can. Montreal is taking steps. Our main objective for September the 23rd is to address the provincial government. We will be in provincial elections. But no, so to come back to your original question, sorry, I'm going in every directions, but to come back to your original question, Montreal is taking, sadly, the steps that should have been taken 20 years ago.
Thank you so much. This has been such a big help. I really appreciate your time. And if there's anything coming up, I'll keep an eye out for September 23rd. But if there's any other events, please don't hesitate to let me know. I'd love to cover it.
Of course, thank you.